Hello everyone, nice to meet you all. So I have in my hands a collection of letters, all dusty and fascinating letters that tell the adventures of Annabelle Underwood. Right now, all you have to do is listen and enjoy the story. And one more thing, I prefer to warn you, but English is not my mother tongue. I promise I will try to improve as quickly as I can and for my acting too. So now you know everything, shall we begin? This story is called Everything But Green. So now I will summarize the first, second and third part for you, but if you want to listen to them, you can find the links in the description. So, you are in New York, 1911. Annabelle Underwood was only meant to stop there briefly, long enough to wait for an expedition to the North Pole, but then the funding collapses, so she has to stay put. One night, a 12-year-old girl named Pearl came to her, a locket clenched in her hand, a plea trembling on her lips. Her older sister, Louise, a factory worker by day and a waitress by night, has vanished without a trace. Louise had only one goal: to give Pearl a future at any cost. And yet, one evening, she does not come home. With Hayden Green by her side, Annabelle patiently follows a trail, a textile mile, a quiet bar, a squalid room, frightened witnesses, carefully maintained in silence. Very quickly, a second disappearance emerged, identical, like an echo. Then, my clues fall into place, and what first looked like a single tragedy reveals the working of something larger, more organized, more dangerous. Until the night when, guided by an intuition born of a childhood memory, Annabelle and Hayden follows a car through the sleeping city to a wasteland and a windowless cabin. Inside, a woman, bound and unconscious, and beneath a white sheet, a face she knows far too well, Louise's faces. So now I'm reading the letter again. I stood there for a long time, not knowing what to say or what to do, unable to think clearly. I am used to seeing like this, to horror like this, but in that moment my whole being felt frozen, incapable of moving, and it was not because of the body lying before me, but because of Pearl. How I was going to tell her, how I already picture her, shattered in tears. Hayden broke into my thoughts when he returned. His brow was frowned, his anger and frustration obvious. I knew, without him having to say a word, that the man had slipped through his fingers. Knowing the area better than Hayden, the fugitive has vanished into the city's darkness. There was no way to find him now. As Hayden stepped into the room, his expression changed completely, his features tightening even more. He focused on the scene before him, on the bodies laid out there, on the three women. Louise and the boss's niece has been dead for days. The young woman who had just been kidnapped has simply been put to sleep with chloroform, its slightly sweet smell still clinging to her. She would wake in a few moments. Hayden moved closer to her, checking that she was breathing properly, that no visible injury made her body. He removed his jacket, rolled it into a bundle to make a pillow, and slid it under the young woman's head. Every one of these movements was professional. I let him work in silence. Words were useless in such circumstances. Once he was sure she was all right, he went to the other two bodies, examined them as gently as possible before speaking. I've seen these marks a few times before, but rarely, very rarely. I never thought I'd see them here, in our time. Anna, you see where I'm going with this? Look at their fingers. And just like the sclera, the white of their eyes is faintly tingled green. They're eaten away by arsenic. The rest of their bodies bears other lesions, arsenic must have damaged the skin. Despite their young age, these women were doomed to die young. Their body tells the story. The victim closer to us, the boss's niece, died no more than 2 days ago. And Louise was killed at the start of the week. Darn it, what is going on here? And it is the same with the young woman who was drugged. Her body shows the same damage, but they weren't killed by arsenic. Look at their throats, killed with a single strike from a blade, most likely a knife. What an horrible sight. Look at the state of the wooden board they were laid on. The wood has changed color, changed completely. He has drunk so much blood, so much. I could see how heavily each word weighed on him. A past he has tried in vain to keep hidden was rising to the surface. I said nothing. Everything he had just told me I had already observed, but I could feel he needed to speak. It was his way of controlling the situation, of trying to accept it, to analyze the layouts of facts, to escape the grim reality right in front of us. You know, Anna, I haven't told you yet, but before I became a photographer, I had another life, a very different one. I was a police officer in a small town in the United Kingdom, not far from the sea. I loved my job, and deep down, I think I still do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, following you like an idiot through New York streets, chasing a serial killer who murders women poisoned by arsenic, already doomed to die. And yet, I left the force on my own free will. I don't yet have the strength to tell you everything, but I simply placed my hand on his shoulder to show he didn't have to say more if he didn't want to. A faint smile flickered across his lips for a second, and then he moved to cover the women's faces again with profound respect. As soon as the young woman woke, we brought her to the police station and explained everything that had just happened. The finite pieces of the puzzle fell into place when the kidnapped woman gave her statements. I knew everything, every detail, and yet, unlike usual, revealing the truth was going to be far harder than expected. I asked an officer to go to the place I had indicated and to wait for me there, so that I could explain the whole situation. They seemed doubtful, but once they heard my name, they agreed. It seems my reputation has more than caught up with me here. I had been completely wrong about that. Ask only for a little time, a moment, to go and see Pearl. When we returned to the hotel at daybreak, Pearl was already waiting patiently, sitting on the bed. She was reading a book about the traditions of Canada's indigenous people. A wide smile appeared on her face, then vanished at once when she saw our devastated expressions. A single tear slipped on her cheek as she got up. A flood followed when we told her about her sister's death. She threw herself into Hayden's arms, then into mine, sobbing uncontrollably. Neither of us could hold back our own tears anymore. Pearl's presence in my life, in this investigation, had deeply changed my objectivity. I could not take the necessary distance, the step back that I usually take, the one that allows me to keep my composure in any circumstances. It was impossible. I had never known Louise, and yet I felt profoundly shaken by her death and by Pearl's grief. Hayden, stay with Pearl while I go finish what I have to do. I took a taxi to the factory where Louise had worked for so many years. The weather was mild. Everyone had asked the police to gather was there, without exception. The women from the different factories involved, the people from the bar, and the boss and his family. As I go out, I quickly brush beneath my eyelids to wipe away one last tears that escaped me. Taking a deep breath, I looked at the ground for a moment before I began to speak. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. I began, forcing my voice to steady as much as possible so as not to betray my emotions. If I gather you here, it is to tell you what happened, to explain under what circumstances several of your colleagues and friends, perhaps even members of your own family, has vanished these past weeks or even months without explanation. And please, no one interrupt me before I finish. No one. I don't think I will have the courage to tell this story a second time, and I have no strength to argue with criminals who will try to justify their horrible acts for reasons I cannot understand. So, silence, if you please. I will answer questions at the end, but first, let us reveal the secrets, the dreadful story behind this disappearance. I do not know whether I should blame fashion or human madness first. Perhaps both, certainly both. You are all aware, I think, that fashion now is green. A color that has been out of fashion for years has suddenly returned as an essential element of many proper outfits, for men as well as women. Ever since the First Lady, Ellen Heron Taft, wore a magnificent bright green dress at a ceremony at the White House alongside her husband, William Howard Taft, the fashion for green has swept the United States with an uncountable frenzy. But, you see, obtaining a beautiful green, a brilliant, luminous pigment, is not an easy thing to do. And the companies that employs you, the factories where you work, had employed a magnificent green, the finest on the market, and the most dangerous, because what they neglected to mention in the composition of the dye bath is the presence of arsenic. Yes, arsenic. For those of you who don't know, it is an extremely dangerous substance. It may produce magnificent color, but at what cost? At the cost of workers' life. The women who handle that green every day were slowly poisoning themselves. Proof lies in their hands and eyes. The women assigned to work with green. It was not only pigments that rubbed off and gave them that greenish tint. It was poisons. It kills you little by little, and you know nothing about it. And those who run the factory knew it perfectly well. That is why they isolate you from the others to prevent the truth from being discovered. They deliberately hired women without families, women from poverty and orphanage, so their disappearance would not be noticed. So, if they vanished overnight, no family member would come demanding answers, and besides, they were all adults. The police would only assume to run away, nothing more. And indeed, the McElven plan slipped under the radar for quite some time. The danger of these pigments has been known for more than 50 years, but you did not care. Profits above all, especially since these beautiful fabrics brings in a great deal of money. And because the arsenic is diluted with other pigments, the only ones who truly suffer are your workers. Proof lies in their hands and eyes. The women assigned to work with green. It was not only pigments that rubbed off and gave them that greenish tint. It was poisons. It kills you little by little, and you know nothing about it. And those who run the factory knew it perfectly well. That is why they isolate you from the others to prevent the truth from being discovered. They deliberately hired women without families, women from poverty and orphanage, so their disappearance would not be noticed. So, if they vanished overnight, no family member would come demanding answers, and besides, they were all adults. the police will only assume to a runaway, nothing more. And indeed, your McElven plan slips under the radar for quite some time. The danger of these pigments has been known for more than 50 years, but you did not care. Profits above all, especially since these beautiful fabrics brings in a great deal of money. And because the arsenic is diluted with other pigments, the only ones who truly suffer are your workers. Each time the same method was used, you hire someone to do it. And when I say you, I mean the 3 people in management I had the misfortune to meet. The director, the deputy director of your company, and the owner of all 3 factories. You are the real cupids ones, the criminals responsible for the murders of the 3 women. You orchestrate their death. The moment symptoms began to show, you hire someone to do it, to do your dirty work for you. But you are the real cupids. As soon as one of them becomes ill, too ill, and asks to see a doctor, you make her disappear. No suspicion, no trouble. You hire a hitman, kidnap them and kill them. Each time, you ask your victim to return to the factory in the evening, after everyone has left, to discuss a promotion, a change of position, some pretext, any pretext. You told them to keep it to themselves, that the promotion must remain secret from the other workers. And so each of them came, hoping for a slightly better life, hoping at last to improve their living conditions. Except that one day, a grain of sand slipped into your well-oiled mechanism. Because you were not caught after so many victims, you began to grow more confident and less careful about whom you hired. Your last 2 victims lied and said they had no family. To get the job they needed to survive, they hired their loved ones. Louise Thompson has a younger sister named Pearl, and Texas Reese has a mother named Zima. And they worked for you for so long, you never suspected a thing. When Pearl realized her sister has vanished, despite her young age, she searched for her by every means. Zima did the same for her daughter. Changed, or rather felt determination, put me in her path, and I agreed to investigate her sister's disappearance. The rest was not so difficult to uncover, and last night I understood you were about to claim another victim. The day before, I asked every worker willing to speak to meet us at the restaurant where Liz worked, so we could talk. I wanted as much information as possible about how the factory operates, because I was already certain there was a link, and one of them did not show up. I should have understood sooner. If she did not come, it was because you had arranged to meet her that very evening. Given her condition, she has very little time left to live. So, last night, you killer drug her with color from while she waited for you at the factory, put her in a sack like a bundle of clothes, and tossed her into his car. We followed him as discreetly as we could, and he suspected nothing. That is how we found the sinister place where you slit this woman's throats with a knife before burying them nearby. As I speak, the police are digging up the bodies of your victims to identify them and to bury them with dignity. And they have already arrested your hitman. A heavy silence held the crowd as I finished my conclusions. It was finally broken by the boss's sister-in-law sobs. The police arrested the 3 guilty men while I left as calmly as I could. I was boiling inside afterward, with rage and fury. I did not return to the hotel at once, so I went back to the crime scene to ask whenever my help was needed. Sadly, it was not, so I turned around and went back to Pearl and Hyder. For several days we remained in a state of mourning. a sadness impossible to hide. The mayor, William J. Janor, gave a speech in honor of these 10 women as they were buried with dignity. Pearl held my hand and Hayden's through the ceremony. She fought back tears, even tried to smile, telling me she wanted to show her sister the smile she loved so much. Louise always told Pearl that smiling in any situation was her greatest strength. A smile was a soul's amulet. The next day, Pearl returned to school, found her rhythm again. She misses her sister at every moment, but she had a promise to keep. The boss and his wife decided to adopt her and take care of her. That reassured me. I knew she would be in good hands and that they would never prevent her from pursuing her dream. I gave them my address, something I do very rarely, so that Pearl could write to me and they could too, of course. The evening, Pearl went to live with them. We all ate together at the restaurant. As I left with Hayden, I could hear them singing Louise's song. Their voices filled the night and warmed our hearts as we set off for Boston, where Professor Johnson was waiting for us to secure funding for our expedition to the North Pole. He had only a little money left to raise, and he truly believed he could find it there. After everything that had happened, he had offered us to come with him, and I must tell you, I was glad to leave and discover somewhere new, but sad to leave a city that I strangely starting to love. Hoping to hear from you soon, my dear Annabelle Underwood. Thank you all for today. Thanks again for listening until the end. Please don't hesitate to subscribe and give us a like and share it to the world. See you soon for more adventures with Annabelle Underwood.